All right. Um, Welcome to the Boys Podcast again for the third time. Yeah, this is 2 weeks in a row now. I think maybe, right?
Something
Hold
like
on,
that.
2 weeks in a row. Something along those lines. Yeah, not much has happened between that point in time and now. The game has died a little bit more.
Yeah, and I really feel like that the game is just coming to its end if they don't bring out the update sooner or later. Because there's gonna be a certain point where they're gonna bring out the update and just no one's gonna play it because it's gonna be completely dead.
Basically. And I mean, at this point, it's to the point where, like, even the hardcore players, like the hardcore, like, competitive players, are quitting, which is
Exactly.
really bad.
Yeah, I mean,
But
like
at the same time, I've
personally,
noticed that some of them are coming back, like Nilla.
Hero, Hero came back.
Nilla and Hero are both coming back for absolutely no reason.
Yeah. What was it? I was watching Hero's live stream and he smashed his desktop over Fortnite.
You're joking.
No, yeah, seriously. It's on his YouTube. Yeah, I got a little curious on what he's been doing this past year, question mark, these past few months. And
Yeah, I think it's past few
yeah,
months.
he's been playing Fortnite and Twitch streaming, which is pretty cool for him, I guess. But yeah, he smashed his keyboard. Not his keyboard, I meant his desktop.
GG.
Yeah, but so I guess he's back to standoff now, and same as Vanilla, but it's always been like that with Vanilla. He just comes and goes whenever he wants to.
Yeah, and I think
But I
that should
mean,
be interesting to see. Because
definitely.
Nilla, I believe, is still clanless, and Hero is still clanless.
Yeah, and I mean,
And though they
personally,
might
like,
be,
oh my fuck, I died in ranked. Um, I don't know about you, but I haven't been playing standoff that much whatsoever. The game's
uh,
really just been boring, It's been stale. It's been played out.
I've been playing it a little bit, but not too much. I've mostly been playing like Seops, just because
I mean,
there's
it's
not
not a
really much else
exactly
to do.
dead game yet. Yeah, so
I
it's just a
think,
matter of waiting for this update to come out.
and then even past that, like tournaments, they aren't doing anything because they're waiting for this. They're waiting for this update that's really not seeming to come. And this happens every time they make an update. I swear, an update there. It's like a week later, like
Oh yeah, and then
a
they
couple weeks or so before the update comes out, we start losing some comp players, and
and
eventually we will get the update. And it's just a really bad cycle that I wish they would fix by getting more devs.
yeah, and it just never seems to change either because like right whenever the update comes out, they just postpone and postpone and postpone, and then the tournaments just never happen.
Yeah. So you end up in this kind of like limbo where you're waiting for this update that seems to never come. And eventually, when it does come, it's a fun update. Yeah, the scene will run it for like a month or two, but it's a cycle. It just keeps happening. And there seems to be no end.
Yeah,
Really hope what they're doing to combat this is they're like stacking them up. So, like, as soon as they get one update done, they hold it back for a little bit for a bit of quality control plus a bit of like plus so they can start making their second update. So always have like
and
an update in their spare pocket in case things start going bad like this.
yeah, and they can't seem to like even get updates out frequently. That's where it comes back to more of like they need more developers and stuff like that. But at this point, is it really even worth it? Because like I'm pretty sure they can tell that their game's dying. I'm pretty sure they can tell how they're doing money wise.
I don't I don't think that they pay as much attention to like the NA scene or the EU scene as much as they do just to like Russia. I feel like they don't
Yeah.
really pay attention to our scenes. Because with NA and us, we don't really get tired of games a lot, or we get tired of games very quickly if we don't get our content.
Yeah, I mean that's where Critical
Like
Ops
games
plays
like
a nice role too.
yeah. But with Standoff 2, you have this team of like 6 people,
Versus
and it's just
an
they're not
entire dev team.
yeah. And it's I get that it's not really a fair comparison comparing like this dev team of close to 100 people versus a dev team of 6,
Oh yeah.
and the quality of updates this I'd rather have more frequent game breaking updates than super infrequent game breaking updates, which is what we're getting now.
Yeah. I mean, like they did say that they're adding a lot more, and maybe it seems like they bit off more than they can chew.
Yeah, but for like
But
every time they add something new, it seems like something in the game breaks.
oh yeah, definitely.
Like I remember in the first hour of them rolling out Standoff 2, there was a bug in Suicide to Mid, just where you could literally just sit in the stairs and half of your body wasn't being able to be seen.
Yeah, just small stuff like that that can ultimately like affect the how people look at your game.
Yeah,
It, I guess they want to take their time to make sure everything's perfected, but at the same time, like
they end up
it's taking
rolling
too
things
long.
out that aren't perfected.
Yeah, and I mean, what's one of my friends brought up a good point about this. He said that he thinks that the dev studio for Standoff is more of like art and graphic designers than just people that work on gameplay mechanics and stuff. Because I mean, like if you like look at it, they kind of tend to focus more on like the cases and the skins in the market more than the actual gameplay itself,
For
which is
some people,
cool and
that's
everything.
nice.
But yeah,
For some people, because I know at least for me, I like new skins. I think that that's a really cool way of kind of keeping a certain player base, but at the same time, eventually players do get tired of skins, especially with the fact that you can't trade them yet.
yeah, and it's I don't know, man. It's really just hey, when's the update coming out? It's coming to the point where like I'm scrolling through Twitter and I'm looking at the Axel Bolt Studios Twitter, and it's just flooded with people asking, "When's the update? When's the update? When's the update?" And they have no response. They're just doing little dumb stuff, and personally, I don't even think they have it close to being done yet.
I really don't either. Sometime, and even when they do release these updates, as I said, it's normally game breaking. Like, and
Hmm.
for the most part, they're adding things that we really don't need. Like, they've changed the AK, the sound of the AK, so many times, it's insane.
Yeah,
Like,
it's really just more of
yeah,
oh shit. I'm getting a little complaints right now. Hold on. Okay.
the AK is from the day that I started Standoff 2, the AK has changed so drastically. Like the sound of it has changed so drastically that if you compared it from here to now, like now to
It
then,
sounds like a
it
paintball gun.
yeah, it does. It sounds like a freaking airsoft gun. Most of the guns do.
Yeah. Also, is this
Like
better for
the
you
freaking
guys that are complaining about my voice? Because I got some complaints about my voice being quiet. This should be a little bit better for you guys.
it's just stupid. And then apparently they're going to be adding a 5.7, which I guess will be fine, but we don't really need another pistol, especially with the USP.
We don't
Like,
need any
in all
pistols.
reality, what niche in the pistol side do we need? Kind of fully automatic ones that do good amounts of damage with semi nice mags, one super fully automatic one that has a super big mag but does no damage, and then a deagle, which is
5 shots
basically,
full of,
which
yeah.
for me is need freaking a Tech 9 or anything. see why they need to add a 5-7. Much rather
Well,
have either a new category of weapons, like a
ye-
LMG class, or that could probably go into the heavy class. So like add an LMG or maybe some new shotguns, or balance the shotgun.
yeah. Don't make it be a sniper, please. But I mean,
Seriously.
it seems like they're trying to like just pour out more content. Like they're not even trying to focus on what we want. It's more of just, hey, we're trying to keep content so our game stays relevant.
And
And I mean, like,
eventually the gameplay gets so stale because skins can only go so far.
yeah,
You need we need more things that we can actually do. And they're saying that, oh, we're adding this, we're adding that, but I'm not sure. They've been saying that they're going to be adding ranks for years.
yeah. And I mean, like, also take a look at what this update has done to the community itself. I mean, like, remember how the Standoff League was supposed to be all this entire big thing? But
Yeah,
still,
and it's been
no spots have been bought so far just because of this update and just because people think the game is actually going to die. So, I mean, like,
yeah,
it's just ruining the whole chemistry of what's going on.
Snow saying he wants a Tech 9.
Yes, it's not what
No,
we
I don't
want,
I don't want a Tech 9.
it's what we need.
Personally, I would rather have more primaries, like another shotgun, like maybe a pump. Basically the freaking Super 90 that we have now. Like a nice,
Maybe.
like maybe a double barrel would be cool.
Oh yeah, double barrel, that'd be sweet.
Can you imagine how cool that would be? Just running around with a freaking over under shotgun, freaking capping
Yeah.
people.
I mean, like, take a look at the metas, for instance, as well for standoff, because I mean, I haven't really played standoff in a little bit, but it just seems like it. Let me take a step back and look at what the game really is, and all I see is people just running and gunning with SMGs, running and gunning, and then people that crouch spam, and it's really just all the same, and it's really getting stale, like you were saying.
You, I'm not saying that they should re-add run and gun to its fullest extent, and I'm not saying that they should take it out either, because for some people it really truly is like a crutch.
Yeah.
At the same time, they have to appeal to kind of two sides. They have to appeal like to one side of this like multiplayer game where you're really just trying to have fun. But they're also trying to apply and appeal to this other side of like competitive players. And sometimes their needs of both sides of players kind of clash. And it ends up making this kind of heap of mess that's just kind of uncontrollable.
Oh,
Like
definitely.
some players they want new pistols and I can't stop them. But at the same time, me as a competitive player, I don't want a pistol.
Yeah.
When I'm in like when it's 6-4 and I'm trying to bring back my team so we can take this game, a pistol's not gonna help me. AK, I'm gonna need a gun that I can make plays with.
A Negev. Yes.
Pistol. I
Yeah. I mean, like,
just don't see the point.
yeah, and there's also like how you're saying there's two sides. I mean, one side is kind of like people are like, be more like CS:GO, do more CS:GO kind of things. But at the same time, standoff is trying to become its own thing. Like it's not trying to be like CS:GO as much as people
They
want
don't
it to
want to be
be.
known as the CS:GO clone,
Yeah, they exactly. And it's just
and I feel like
a really gray
they
area.
kind
It's
of
a really
screwed
fine
themselves.
line. What were
Yeah,
you saying?
they kind of screwed themselves when they kind of made the game look a bit like CS:GO. But at the same
Yeah,
time,
but I
there are
mean,
just so many things that they could do better
it's
or
yeah,
do
it
more of.
was really just a like standoff one. I guess that was kind of more like an arcade-ish kind of thing, and hey, that was cool and all. They should have stuck with it, honestly. I'm not saying standoff two is a bad thing that happened, but the direction that they're taking it, it should have been done a while ago. It should have been all this should have been added a while ago.
Like we've been waiting on
But
ranked and a trading system for years.
yeah,
And
um,
with the kind of rate of updates, we're getting them less and less, but with more and more stuff, kind of. If you know what I mean. Like in the stuff, like in the start, there were mainly just service patches, quick fixes, a quick gun release here, some quick stuff here, there, small stuff. But then you have big updates like, we're adding a new map, a new gun, two new guns maybe, a new skin collection, all this crap. And
yeah,
now we're to the point where they're adding 5.7. They might be adding a second gun or third gun that we don't know about. They're adding another skin collection. They're adding a new map. They're adding 2 new modes or 3 new modes. They're adding a clan section. It's insane.
yeah, and that's where it comes back to like, did they bite off more that they can chew? You know, it's taking way too long for a team of 6 developers, which I understand it's a team of 6, and I know it's gonna take a long time, but how long is enough?
Yeah. And I know that the standoff 2 devs aren't watching this because they're Russian,
Yeah,
cough cough, and none of us speak Russian, but have more frequent kind of like service patches where they just add small things, small fixes, than I would, giant updates that I have to wait 5 months to get.
yeah. And I mean, like, about the whole SO2 league and stuff like that, that's already been a big impact in the scene itself. But I mean, are more teams gonna start dropping out because this update isn't coming out, or are more teams gonna try to merge with these big orgs that are might not buy spots? Because I mean, if you look at it, it's been how long since another team's bought a spot for? Are any teams even gonna buy spots at this point?
They're saying that they
'Cause I mean,
have
like, I
bids up.
know, I mean, if they do have bids, then I guess good for them. But as of right now, man, I don't. It's a big if right now.
Instead of
And
like
like,
buying models for their guns, they should freaking like buying the actual gun. When the recent tweet they put here at the Axle Bolt thing, this is what we do, and it's just the dude with like a plate of bread,
straight up
or
M4.
yeah, like instead of spending money on guns to model off of, why don't you freaking get some devs,
Yeah, get some more better
full on dev
servers and
team,
some devs. It's whatever though. I
make
mean,
it and make a
what'd you say?
region lock for God's sake.
Oh yeah. But and I
Like
mean,
how
like, that's kind of where I agree with my friend that said that they're more focused on like the art of the game instead of just the game
yeah.
mechanics itself.
And also I think one thing that I would love to see, just absolutely love, is how on like COD, Call of Duty, where if you have like a certain amount of ping, like if you have 200 ping or higher, you get kicked off the server. Unless if it is hosted by Axelbolt, you get kicked off. I want to see that in standoff because I don't want to have to play with these 500 ping Russian players that are wallbanging me through walls that you cannot wallbang.
Well, it's just all about the meta. It's all about them just running and gunning. I mean, most casuals on standoff are just playing two fingers and they're just enjoying themselves, I guess. But there comes to a point where like the community has to evolve itself, right? Like someone has to start playing more than two fingers, do something. And like I guess that's I don't know. It's just a big if right now. It's a really big if. We have to see how the update plays out and see how everything goes. But as of
If
right
the
now, it's
update
really just a
plays
big
out,
if. Yeah.
yeah. And that's the problem. You know, I know that some people here who are watching this might not know it, but I know at least Brecky and I were here. They've been doing this for a very long time. These like just giant patches of no content, no word from them. Basically, like 4 or 5 months, nothing. No word from them, just have fun with the game. And then, a month and then 1 month or 2 months after the update comes out, they'll say, "Oh, we're working on a new update." A month after that, they'll say, "Oh, update's coming out sooner or later." And then like maybe a couple weeks after that, they'll release the update. It's it's really a bad cycle because again, you're left in this like 1 to 2 week spot of just limbo where you're waiting for this update that hasn't been really confirmed.
Yeah, and it's also weird because I mean they did say the update was coming out really soon, but people are speculating that's coming out in August.
And
And I
if it
mean not
does,
not
the
even
scene's
early
gonna die.
August. Oh, definitely. Like we're not talking early August. We're talking like mid to late August.
If it
So
comes
I
out
mean
in
like
August,
yeah.
I'm gonna a lot of standoff too, and just get tired of it.
I
I'm
think
go
that's
6 to 7 months without an update. It just you can't do it unless you're CS:GO.
yeah. And it's just I don't know. It's getting stale. Like you can see more and more players are just switching clans for fun at this point. It's just going back to the same way that it's always been, and like we've tried to change it. Many people have tried to change it through a way of many different things, but nothing has really worked out to where we can fully say that, hey, standoff scene has changed and we can actually become professional and so.
I still think that the Standoff League has a chance of doing well,
If yeah,
and I
if
hope
they
it
have those
does.
bids,
Yeah. If the
I
bids
mean,
are real, then I
yeah.
think it'll do well.
And also speaking
Current
of that,
moment in time,
are they still sponsored with Axelbolt? Have they gotten sponsored by them yet?
no. They
Well,
said that they're working on getting approval from Axel Volt, but again, that might take a while, so
yeah,
I'm kind of iffy on that. The Standoff League, or what supposedly it's supposed to be, works out. But at its current rate, we're waiting on an update. Everything so far relies on this update.
more of just a waiting game.
Such as all
And
members from
it's not like that we hate the game, right? We're not here to talk completely bad about the game. It's just that it's the truth, and everything that we're speaking is the truth. And it's more of just like there's
the
nothing
game.
good to talk about the game at this point. Y-
Like we've
There,
said
there,
all the good that we really can about the game. It's fun, but it's losing its flair. I feel like
yeah,
Standoff 2 is kind of like a fireworks show. You have like these kind of smaller fireworks that they don't last.
yeah. And
Every
then
once in a while you get a big update, which is kind of like the final flare or so, and where, tons of explosions. It's super big. Everyone loves it for a couple weeks or a couple days or whatever. But then eventually it dies down and back into the rest of the fireworks.
yep. And then it's on. I don't honestly know. It just hurts my head on how like they haven't planned these things ahead. Like, I'm sure that a group of six devs that they weren't planning on making their game some huge ass game like it is now. Even if you can call it huge at this point, but they should have had
And
a
I
backup
think it
measure.
could be.
They should have had a plan for on how like they could have made their studio bigger, or they could have had future plans on how to develop their game and evolve their game. But instead, they're just sticking with the same old stuff like we're talking about now.
And on top of all of that, you have like seen pictures of like the Axel Bolt studio, like the actual place where they work. There is plenty of room for more devs.
Oh, definitely.
You cannot tell me that there is not more room. But they just aren't hiring.
And I mean, like, it's not just that one office either. Like, I went on Google Maps and took a look at their entire office building. I don't know if it's their entire one, but there's definitely more than enough room.
There's more than enough room for 6 devs. So I see no reason why they don't have more. Unless, like, the dev scene in Russia is just absolutely dead. Or 80% of their building is just a shooting range.
Oh yeah, definitely. They have entire shooting range on the basement on how to make gun
Just
sound.
That's why all of our AKs sound like paintball guns.
It is Russia though. They could be real. You never know.
Yeah. But
But it's
there's just no reason that they shouldn't have like 10 or 12 devs by now.
I would definitely. Um, I'm gonna stay on the podcast for a couple more minutes, about like maybe like 10 or 15 minutes, because I got some errands to do that I completely forgot about. But I
Okay.
mean, I feel like that we really covered a lot of things. Even though it's only been how long? I have no clue. But
It has been 30 minutes, give or take.
yeah, we can go for a little bit longer.
It's been a little bit shorter than that because starting 10 minutes that we do to get prepared and everything, but about 30.
But honestly, there's nothing to really talk about. It's not like there's anything that's been going on in the community.
Yeah,
That
I mean, there's the duo tournament, which seems to be promising.
that's
Hopefully,
fun.
it doesn't buy, the new update.
Yeah.
Also, one thing that I feel like we haven't touched on enough is gap between the update on Google Play and the update on iOS. Because maybe
Oh
that's
yeah.
why it's taking so long.
I mean,
Just
they
haven't
did
gotten
say
approval
that.
from the iOS people.
I mean, take a look at last update though, because they did say that last update was going to be coming out the same exact time as Apple.
Yeah. But
So I mean,
then the iOS update ended up coming out like 4 or 5 days later, or maybe even a
mhm,
week, I think.
yeah. So it could
So
be a
I
matter of
wonder
that,
if
I guess.
maybe it could be because we know that Google, they run through that quick and fast, 3 days
Yeah.
later, it's done. Um,
I don't know. It's
I don't
just
know.
if this game dies, this podcast can always become more than just about standoff. Like we do have future plans for talking about more than just standoff itself. If this becomes big enough and we have more people that enjoy like listening to what we talk about.
Yeah.
But as of for now, like we feel comfortable with standoff. We've been in the scene long enough to feel like that we can talk about issues that are going on without being backfired upon. And I mean, I feel
I
that
think
everyone should listen to what we have to say because this stuff really needs to happen, really needs to be heard.
I the game is in a very rough spot. Lack of devs, and they're trying to make these giant updates like what CS:GO has. I feel like they're trying to further themselves away from CS:GO while sticking with what CS:GO is based off of. Because with CS:GO, you get quite a few updates. You get like an update every 1 or 2 months. They add a bit of tweaking here, a little bit of skins here, just an overall kind of thing like that. But
Yeah,
at the
and
same time, CS:GO has a dev team of like 1,000 people,
yeah,
so they're
the
able
Critical
to,
Force office is always busy.
yeah. And then with Critical Force, you have kind of the same thing where every 1 or 2 months, you get an update, and then a week later you get a patch, so forth. Either way, these are both kind of they're both dev teams that have, you know, way more than like 20 people. And then Standoff 2 is the same, is a dev team that's trying to do the exact same thing. Updates every 1 to 2 months or so. They're kind of big. They add a couple things here and there, maybe a couple fixes, some skins. So instead of doing it every 1 to 2 months, we're getting it every 5 months.
Yeah, and
At this rate, is not enough.
I guess it's just from us playing mobile games in general. Because I mean, like, what the games are free and they do make their money off of ads and microtransactions. So I mean, like, I guess we have to take a little easy on it because at the end of the day, you're not getting much free games that are this good.
Yeah,
And
and that's
I
nice.
mean,
Again, we're not bashing Standoff 2. We're not saying that Standoff 2 is just an absolutely crap game. What we're
yeah, I mean,
saying is
why will we
it
be playing it for
needs.
more than a year if it's that garbage of a game? We would have stopped playing a long time ago.
I just don't think that in its current state it's going to go as far as it could be. Take the risk and try and hire some more devs.
Yeah. I feel like that's all that needs to be talked about. Sorry to leave the podcast early, but I really do have to go run some.
You're fine.
Yeah, this is Brecky signing out. Have a good day, gamers. Have a good day.
Yeah. Otherwise, guys, there's not really much to talk about. Like it's a good game, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, the game's just kind of not in a state currently where it is fun for at least the competitive side of the game to play. We have the same meta, which kind of favors the more casual players. Because again, you're catering to two sides of basically this game. The casual players and the competitive players. With a game like CS:GO, most of the players, like a good 80% of the players, are pretty competitive. But with Standoff 2, it's a mobile game, so a lot of your players are going to be very casual. They're going to be playing like on the train ride home. So it's just a really weird spot that we're in. Either way, it's been a fun 40 minutes. Yeah, 40 minutes. It's been a fun 40 minutes, guys. I guess see you guys later. Either way, all of you can have a great day. Don't die. All the good stuff.